Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Delphine here. I'm a online digital business owner, and today I'm starting my 10 days Go Live digital business journey, sharing what is my big why and a lot of perks about this business. So today is the first day. So I've done this before actually in February, and I'm quite excited actually to do this sharing again because the February one was the first time that I actually did this go live sharing, 10 days go live, continuous 10 days go live sharing. And I find it very interesting as after the 10 days go live sharing about this business, sharing about myself, I tend to actually found out more about why is my why um, a why. Why do I why is it so important in my life actually? So I tend to actually dig in deeper into myself because usually we don't even think that much. Why are we working so hard for? Is it for something? Is it just to live life day after day? Or is there something that um we work for just to achieve something? So through that series that I done in February, I found out my big why. And from then till now, actually, this why tends to evolve. Okay, it's like Pokemon. It evolves and it gets into a little bit of more little small whys to create that big why that I have. So today is the first day of this journey that I'll be sharing with you actually why is my big why and how I actually discover my why. Okay, this big why of mine, if everybody, people who actually know me, know that I'm a very, family woman. I'm a very um, caring mom. I have a lot of love for everybody, not just for my kids, So I have a really big heart. So my big why is actually my children as well as my family. I think that could be most of the women. That's what they are asking for. Just to have a very harmony and family where we have time for the children. Where you don't need to work, you still can spend more time with the children to watch them grow up. From different stages after they are born. So I actually missed out on this opportunity to actually watch my children grow because I was really busy with work. I'm actually working in the financial industry. Okay, to be particular, I'm actually working in the insurance industry. So people who are in this industry, that lives are really very hectic with work because insurance line is very critical to the client because it really covers you, from the day that the insurance cover starts. So we cannot delay any coverage or things like that because it affect that person whether can he claim that uh, the claims that he has incurred or not. So I value my job a lot, because I always place people in right in front of myself. I always put them in front of me. So I always disregard myself. I disregard, how important my family are. That's why I always value this job a lot. I've been working in this industry for about 20 years plus. That's why I know how important it is to others, of course to me as well. Yeah, so I put in actually 100% of almost 100%. I wouldn't say 100%, almost 100% of my time into my work. I was really devoted. Okay, so I spent a lot of time. I woke up at 6 o'clock and I reach office like 8, and I work whole day. It could be like a 12-hour shift, so I work until 8 o'clock at night, and it's almost every day except for Saturday, Sunday, where some of the weekends are actually also burnt because I have so many backlogs that I have to clear, although I've been working so hard during the weekdays. Yeah. So I find myself getting lost in my life suddenly. Okay. Somewhere I think about 2 years ago, I started to feel this is not the kind of life that I want. No matter how devoted, how passionate I am about my job, how I love my job, I still need my life. Because that's what it makes me happy. Although my job makes me happy at the same time, yeah. But it's a different type of happiness that we have. Happiness with family, happiness where you get some achievement in the job. It's two different things. Yeah. So about 2 years ago, I was totally so drained out. That was when COVID started. So we started to work from home, and things get didn't get better. Usually, you work from home, you will expect that things will get better, but it didn't actually. Actually, it worsened because I tend to work even later, and I tend to skip my lunch, my dinner as well. I wasn't doing the duty that as a mom that I should be, which makes me pretty guilty because I was so devoted and engrossed in my work that I actually couldn't see my kids right in front of me. you know so they're working in front, here and there, trying to catch my attention, but I was just looking at the computer screen, which one day is actually knocked me out of the sense that this is not what I want, because I probably think that when someone is really drained of all the energy, that's how they wake up and start to think, what are you doing? So I started to think, what am I doing? Is this the type of life that I want? Because I wouldn't know how long COVID is going to last. I could be working at home for the next 1 or 2 years. Yeah, but is this the life that I want? Even though I'm every day at home, but my heart is not with my family, my heart is not with kids. My kids was then they are like, my girl was 13, my eldest girl is 13. I have two boys, two young boys, which is I think about 9 and 7 then. Okay, so 2 years before. So my 7 years old boy was still pretty young at that age, I would think. Yeah, so he actually needed all the attention that I have, and especially when I'm at home. So they would expect actually more from me. Since mommy is at home, then I can have all of her to myself. But it didn't happen that way. Yeah, and I didn't realize that I needed to be that way. you know so there's one day where he actually was quite depressed. I think because it was continuously for 2 3 weeks when the COVID just started. That he saw me working almost every night very late till the time where they go to bed. Some on some days I didn't even have the time to actually put them to bed. Okay, for me this is really very guilty of me, because I'm someone who ensure that I perform my duties. Since I gave birth to them, since I want to be a mom, then I need to fulfill my duty. So that is something that I actually requested from myself, and I make sure that I will do it, but I didn't fulfill it at that time. So there are days whereby I did not put them to bed, and he was throwing tantrums, because he was really a mummy boy. So, and I have looked after him since young. I do not have a helper then, so I've looked after him since young, from baby time and until he was 7 years old. So it's pretty different from my first two kids, where they are looked after by the helper. So that mom's guilt then looking by the helper, oh, that is, I tell you, is really something that I could not express out. I think all the moms out here who has their kids looked after by their children, they will understand how upset it can be, when your kids start to look for your helper instead of you after when you come home from a very tiring day. You know, I have I have always tried to contain that sadness in me, because at that time when my first two kid was young, it's a no choice thing, because living in Singapore, I'm from Singapore, living in Singapore, expenses are very high. Okay, and with three kids, actually for dual income, sometimes it's really hard to even sustain. It could be just a break even. So, I really don't have a choice that I have to go back to work after giving birth, and engaging a helper to actually help me to look after my children while I'm at work. So this is really a give and take things, that I have made a choice then, which if I'm given a chance to, I don't think I'll make that choice, that same choice again, because whatever has been over, I could not actually find that back. Although I could still make time and, create that different bond with them right now, but it's really different. Okay. Uh, when we give birth, especially for mom, I think we feel a lot after our child, came to this world right from the first second. We felt that, oh, this 10 months of having them with us along, the journey is not easy, but it's really something that we really cherish a lot, because not a lot of people can actually have that type of feelings, or understand how it feels as a mom who actually carry them in the tummy, so heavy for 10 months. And after that, when they came out, it's really a very great achievement. But this great achievement doesn't last long. It always lasts after the 4 months maternity ended and we have to get back to work, so it's really a no choice things for a lot of mom. But if I really have to make a choice right now at this time, I don't think I would make the same choice again. I would definitely, want to be there with them, because um, looking at them growing every day, having that communication, having that little smile that welcomes you every morning, even though, sometimes they cry, they make you angry and all this thing. But I think this is something that we all wanted to have, that memories when we grow old. For me right now, I do not have much memories actually of my first two kids during their early growing stages, because I was at work and the helpers are looking after them. So if you ask me to recall, I could only recall certain stages or certain times when I am with them. But how do they grow up day by day? Seriously, I don't know. I really don't know. So I don't know how many moms actually agree with me on this, where we can't, when we try to look back, we couldn't find that memories that we wanted to. But for my third kids, it's very different because I was with him, you know although the early stage we still have the helper to look after, but I actually made it a point that I spend most of the time with him, because I do not want to have that regrets anymore. So I look after him day and night, and he was almost with me everywhere I go. It was a very special bond that actually I had with him compared to the first two kids. Yeah. So he is very he knows me in and out, which is very different. He can understand when I'm upset or when I'm sad. He will knows, why am I upset and what am I upset about. So this is something very different when you tend to spend a lot of time with that particular child of yours. So this is something that I wanted. So 2 years ago, I decided to actually, drop my job, and I decided to find the type of life that I wanted. Yeah, that is how I realized this big why. That was 2 years ago. But as I progress in this digital business journey, and since February as well, where I did this go live, I realized that my why is actually much, much bigger. Okay, I get to be more greedy actually, because now I found out, what do I want in life? I don't want to live a robotic life anymore. I wanted to live a life that I'm happy when I wake up every morning, I'm smiling. And not that when I wake up every morning, it's like, oh, I have to go to work. I don't want that. Yeah. So I wanted to wake up every morning smiling, like a really bright and sunny sun. So I think this is the type of life that everybody wants, and it could actually happen. So when I started to find out my big why, I started to find out more whys. Why do I want to step on this digital business journey, and why do I want to start building the kind of life that I want. So family is one thing. I wanted to have my early retirement as well. I wanted to have financial independence, and there's a lot of things. I wanted to bring my family out, my especially my parents when they're so old already. I wanted to bring them to overseas as so long that now they can walk, because there are really times whereby we actually spend a lot of time on our children, on ourselves, but we overlook our old age parents. So this is the time that I wanted to pay back to them, because they have looked after me for so long, and they have worried for me for so many years as well. So I think it's a time that I should start repaying them, start spending more time with them while they are still, still here, and while they are still able to walk. So I wanted to bring them to travel around. And there are lots of more whys as well, which I know that I can actually fulfill this, after I embark on this new journey. Okay, so this is my big why. And thank you for actually hearing me on this great sharing that I have for today. Tomorrow I'll be actually doing a survey on what do you think that it is not possible for you to achieve. So do help me on this survey for tomorrow, and I'll catch you for the next 9 days that I will be doing this sharing for this week as well as next week. So the last day is actually next Friday. Okay, so thank you for catching me on this Go Live, and I'll catch you again tomorrow on the survey. Okay, see you. Have a good evening. Bye.